Yo, here in the back, buddy.
Alright, I'll be out there right now. How I usually start everything is basically, the melodies, a sample or whatever. So I'll start off by like listening to somebody that I like find a lot of inspiration from, from like the Pharrells, the Timbalands. I've been listening to a lot of 500,000 these last few weeks, just getting inspired by them. I have this sample here. This is how it sounded originally, like before I did everything to it. So like, you hear that, and then that was like at 60 BPM, so bring it up to like 80 BPM for the whole thing, and now it sounds like... Just loop it after that. Now that I have the melody, like I chopped it up, made it like a little loop, I just kind of keep it on a loop, and then from there I just try to make it sound as good as possible. Like I EQ it, there's more fullness to it, Now it's got that little runoff. It's got like a little delay to it, so I added like a reverb just to make it more filling in a sense. And then from there I go and do the 808. Saying, bring it down a couple octaves. Talking about. Once I have like my 808, cause like sometimes like I'll have like a whole folder of 808s, and then I'll just like keep, just play a bunch of 808 sounds until I find the right one. Play the sample on loop. Now that I have my melody, my 808, I'll go to the snare or a clap, whichever one you prefer. And then I'll like start writing out the snares. Same thing with the kick. Once I get like the hi-hats, I usually take the metronome off, because then the hi-hats kind of act as that, so like I stay on task with that. So it's like, so yeah, see, I use this kick. And to give it a little like more flavor to it, I'll kind of add like some more hi-hats. It kind of helps with cadence for like, if anyone's gonna hop on it. And then like some other shit that I like to use is called an open hat. I try to add a little bit more to it, just so like there's more substance to it, just because like I don't like just to have the sample in there. I like to add some keys in there sometimes. So I add that to it just to kind of give it like some, like I said, some like kind of West Coast synth to it. One thing, if anything, I would want people to take away from this is like there's really no right way to do this. Everybody has their own ways of producing. It's just as long as you have structure and it's like there's consistency, and honestly as long as it sounds good, because like you can look at anybody and they might not even start with the melody, they might start with the drums first, And then once they start building the drums up, then they have a better idea with the melody. Like me, like I start with the root of it, which I think is the melody, and then I build the drums around it, put a bass on it and all that, and then that way like I have like my way of doing it. Definitely EQ and edit your shit though. You know, you don't want your like 808s to sound like too mushy, for lack of a better word, or your hi-hats just sound like, I don't know, like once you start doing this a lot more, you'll start to notice that like the difference between people using like stock programs and not knowing how to like use an EQ or reverb, and that could be the difference between like you having a really good beat to like having just like a normal standard shit that you could probably make at the Apple store, you know what I mean, just like on GarageBand or whatever. Yeah, that's basically how I get down with making beats. My good friend Rossi's in the studio with his fam.
This kid is the only kid that be asking, I want to go to IKEA and buy stuff. You want to buy it, man. Yo, can you hear me? I got this verse. Let me see if it let me see if I can like make it go with this. Yeah. If we been through some shit together, you stuck with me. I didn't ever have to beg no one to fuck with me. Hey, don't be promising me things and start ducking me. I know who riding for me, I know who got love for me. I barely get free time, man, that shit is luxury. She said they hate me, but never could get enough of me. Hey, shit, I love the way you kissing when you sucking me. You know I love you, girl, but I'm just too in love with me. So I'ma end it off like that. Hey, Kobe taught us go harder, don't go soft like that. In Little Italy, I'm trying to buy a loft like that. I hit the cafe at the bottom for a cup.
Yeah, shit's hard. What do you think? You like that? Sounds cool.
So I could do a better one, but
I could have did a lot better. Yeah, I could have did a whole song. All right, bro. Thank you again, man.
All right,
bro.
Let's see.
I first started off like rapping, basically. So 2010 was like really the year where like I started to really like kick off my curiosity from wanting to write music, and then I was like laying down raps, but I didn't have the equipment. So I remember that Christmas I asked my mom, I was like, I just want to sell like a microphone and like something to record myself. And then she got me this like whole package where like it came with like one of the top programs like at the time called Cubase, this really dope mic, and then I ran it on my PC and I was just recording myself. I was putting mixtapes out, giving it to people at school. Once people caught on, they started asking me to do it for them, and then I started really getting in my like engineer mixing bag. That was really what like started it off, and then I kind of lost interest in it. I was trying to focus more like on college and football, and then I picked it back up in like 2014. I wasn't putting out stuff, like I was working on other people, like people were just like asking me to record them and stuff. And then I started looking at this as like, oh, maybe I can get interested in this. So like I stopped going to like regular school, ended up going to this like program to where like I was starting to get like hooked to the top programs like Pro Tools and Logic. And then Logic, you're able to like make beats. So I started dabbling in Logic and making a bunch of beats, and then they're all trash at the time because I didn't know what I was doing. But then over the years, from like maybe 2016 to now, I feel like I've mastered the program to where like I can make like the best quality beats that I can. City's Finest basically was like a challenge for myself because I felt like throughout the years, I was kind of just the behind the scenes guy. Like when you do this stuff, you don't really get as much credit as you should, in my opinion. The album was kind of like a personal thing for me to put together, to not only like have something out there that I can call my own, but to also showcase the different like levels and different reach that I have, well, not just on a production level, but with the networking and the artists that I work with, because I have a ton of artists on here. There's not just one artist. It's not like they're putting their whole creativity on it and their direction towards it, but like I'm asking like one person each to like get on one single song, and then I make it all sound cohesive as possible to where it's like enjoyable to listen to like as a whole project. You listen to like the Mustards and the DJ Khaled's and the super producers, if you will. They get these kind of like accolades and stuff. But I kind of wanted something like that for myself because, you know, San Diego has a plethora of artists out here, and you know, throughout the years I've gotten to know them, I've gotten to network with them, I've seen from afar how they work and like the style of shit that they have, and you know, I just felt like it was a perfect time for me to just finally step out, create something for myself, you know, get on the same page with these artists, and then hopefully something came out, and it did. And I'm super proud of the project. I'm super proud of the work that everybody put into it. Super grateful for everybody that was involved, and I'm proud of myself first and foremost, just like how I was able to handle all that, because it's not easy. Obviously, you know, you got all these different people, all different walks of life and personalities that have their own agendas, have their own schedule. You know, we're in this ginormous studio right here. It doesn't, you know, it's not like I can just come here whenever I want. You know, it's a timing thing, and just it's a patience thing. And with everything that was going on in my life at the time, and then also trying to accomplish this, it was tough. But you know, again, like like I said, I'm proud of myself for sticking to it and definitely making it happen for the most part. What's up? This is Will, also known as Wllb from South Bay, San Diego. Tapping with my guy Chris for After Hours.
If we been through some shit together, you stuck with me. I didn't ever have to beg no one to fuck with me. Hey, don't be promising me things and start ducking me. I know who riding for me, I know who got love for me. I barely get free time, man, that shit is luxury. She said they hate me, but never could get enough of me.